My course is on property law and basic estate planning documents. Since creating the position of trainer in the trust company, I've thought of developing a curriculum about estate planning, trust administration, and investment. It currently costs about $2,500 per associate for 3 on-demand online courses on this topic, each taking about 30 hours to complete. If we sent the same associates off-site, it would cost about $15,000 per associate for 3 weeks of lessons out of the office. However, both the online and off-site curriculum lack an experiential quality needed for retention. They are basically knowledge dumps and do not include application of the concepts to generate an experience for learning as postulated by David Kolb's theories of adult learning. This most likely occurs because they are either created or presented by lawyers to non-lawyers. The information is presented as if knowledge itself will lead to competence in tasks performed by trust associates. In addition, the courses offered focus on how a trust company affiliated with a bank operates. I work for a trust company affiliated with a brokerage firm, and we do things a bit differently. Because of cost, lack of experiential teaching, and misdirected focus of the current offerings, I considered whether it would be beneficial to produce the curriculum in-house. This course gave me an opportunity to test my hypothesis. When creating the course, elements of adult learning were more instructive than a particular instructional design model. For instance, no needs assessment was done, as it was assumed the instruction is needed since we currently use a vendor for this purpose. The method prescribed in the book, Writing Training Materials That Work, was also instructive. The book promotes the idea of a WIFM, what's in it for me, a you can do it, and building to self-actualization as the learner progresses in skill. I designed the Getting Started module in week 1 to present learners with an overview of the course and why it is important to them and their success, keeping the WIFM and you can do it in mind. The course then builds from simple property concepts to basic estate planning documents. The activities were designed so that the learner could make them as personal or remote as they liked, and so that they would build on the concepts mastered the prior week. While it would be nice to jump into estate planning documents and concepts, the foundation belongs in property ownership. Although some of the learners would be familiar with these concepts and could possibly skip over them, it is important that the topics be presented for those who are unfamiliar. In addition, I've been familiar with these concepts for more years than I care to reveal, but every time I review them, I find something new to consider or remember. Initially, the course included readings and discussion boards. As the class progressed, we were required to add video and other activities. My course then evolved to include presentation of the materials in different manners. For example, I could describe that a fixture is when personal property is converted to real property because of how it is attached to the real property. However, as described in Daniel Willingham's video, this skill has some visual elements to it as well as because the description may help you understand the concept. But a picture is worth 1,000 words. Sometimes seeing is believing. I located a video from a realtor describing fixtures and included that in the course to help the learner retain this concept. As mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, the curriculum currently available is designed and/or presented by attorneys. They focus completely on the knowledge, teaching the subject the way it was taught to them in law school. Those completing the course will not be practicing law. However, they need to be able to apply the concepts to their jobs and talk intelligently with lawyers, just as is described in a study about improving curriculum theory and design for teaching law to non-lawyers in built environment education. The article discusses the challenge of legal topics being taught in the same format that they are taught in law school, which may not be the best approach even for lawyers, much less for non-lawyers. For this reason, I wanted to be sure to address the knowledge in the course in multiple ways. I included readings and lectures with the information. I wanted learners to go beyond knowledge, though. So the discussion boards are meant to have them apply the knowledge to real-world situations, such as identifying and classifying property, writing a letter to a client to explain the implications of how property is titled, or determining how property would pass if no will was written. The multiple ways that learners must respond to the course are in line with the concepts discussed in planning your online course. At completion, the course includes important terms, wiki, creation of charts for job aids, discussion boards, group work, and the use of pictures, which all require different application formats for the learner. The course begins with introductions to establish rapport with each other and begin building community. I usually did this in face-to-face courses, but did not necessarily understand why. Palov and Pratt helped me understand that this simple exercise, even if everyone knows each other, is essential to building a community and safe environment for the course among the learners. I don't think I will ever skip introductions again. During the course, several communication strategies are employed to build community and allow learners to use different communication skills. Discussion boards require an initial post and then response to others. Critiques of discussion posts allow learners to review how someone else responded to the assignment, employ their knowledge of the subject, and improve on their skills discussing these topics with others. Trust associates need to be able to question others with more knowledge or experience. The critiques are meant to build confidence doing this. I had not considered these aspects in the initial thoughts for the project, but I believe they enhance skills needed and not just build knowledge, a benefit that we would acquire if the course was hosted internally. When I began designing the course, all the discussion boards and assignments were individual. It became evident from the readings in Palov and Pratt and others that the building of community was helpful to learning. In addition, because these associates would all be working together in the future, the community built would most likely extend beyond the coursework and into future working relationships. Working in a trust company can be similar to practicing law. It is not done in a vacuum, but in collaboration with others, as questions without clear answers arise. Collaboration in the course should foster that working strategy for the future. For these reasons, I changed several of the assignments to require working with partners and critiquing the work submitted by others. I even challenged the learners to a final project of developing a basic estate plan based on the information in the course. As mentioned, these collaboration strategies, these activities also improve the learner's abilities to discuss the topics with others who may have more knowledge or experience. This is a skill that they will need in the workplace. This was my first experience with designing rubrics. The courses we design and teach where I work seldom include any assessment of the learner's skill. I used our campus as a source to begin the creation of the discussion board rubric. There I found one to adjust to fit my needs. As I created the rubric, I realized that something similar could be used for general associate performance evaluations, and will be sharing that with leadership in the near future. I wanted to include a quiz in the course as well. A major takeaway from this course is the ability to recognize how property is owned and what that means with respect to the ability to transfer or dispose of the property. Initially, the quiz was going to be placed at week 3. However, I realized that I did not cover the topics of transfer on death or pay on death until the last week when discussing will substitutes. Because of this, I moved the quiz to the end of the course so that all information could be included and tested. The quiz will be designed to test type of ownership, who can transfer during life, who receives the asset at the time of the owner's death. Gail Kravitz's video on ways to prevent cheating in online tests was very instructive about how to limit cheating among the learners. The time period to take the quiz will be limited to a short window. The learner will be able to use resources such as job aids or books, but the time to actually take the quiz will be limited to avoid too much collaboration or review. Questions will also be shuffled so that students receive different questions with shuffled answers. In order to provide a variety of learning experiences in accordance with universal design to meet the needs of all students, I used a mixture of learning tools. The weekly work includes readings and videos from YouTube or mini lectures that will be recorded. Assignments include discussion boards, completion of job aids, contribution to an important term blog, group work, personal work on a family tree, and even a quiz. The variety of learning tools and assignments should allow a variety of learners to acquire the knowledge and application desired. In the end, I will probably not develop the course materials in-house for several reasons, including the need to spend my time developing other training for the department and the difficulty in maintaining the curriculum once created. It is simply too costly and too time-consuming to do this in-house. Instead, what I hope to do is supplement the online modules with additional learning activities that I would have created to provide the application practice needed to generate experiential learning among the students. These activities will also mean that learners would move through the online courses in a group rather than as individuals without the benefit of community.